Hey everyone, Mystic Mighty here. Originally, I was just gonna read a script and then play a game in the background, but I realized Roblox is the definition of infinite games but no games, in which I'd rather take the unlimited bacon. So, I've decided to just yap and run around blindly and aimlessly in Egg Hunt 2026 game, while I read the script. Welcome to my review of Egg Hunt 2026 on Roblox. Last time I made a review video, it was for Sonic Frontiers, which wasn't really a necessary review video. But this time I wanted to do one because with being a loved game, it was also an attacked game. For the price, $30. It only feels fair to judge it. Especially being the first Roblox game to cost $30, it should be reviewed by multiple people. Especially if you want the official verdict, are you willing to spend 30 of your hard-earned money on this game? Which I'm sure you've probably bought a $30 game before if you own Steam. But maybe not. I did not buy the game. I got a game key from Izzy, but I'm gonna act like I purchased it, because Izzy spent $30, the same thing. I will treat it like a $30 Steam game, as well as comparing it to its 2018 predecessor, which was a free game that you can still play for free. This video contains constructive criticism. Please do not attack anyone involved in the Egg Hunt game. Fifth Team did a great job and should be rewarded for their efforts on the game. You can watch me react to the entire Egg Hunt on YouTube for free before you watch this if you'd like, as this does contain spoilers! Now, with that out of the way, is the game worth $30? No. Starting off with gameplay, as that's the most important aspect of a game. What is the gameplay? I don't know what it's like on mobile, or if it's even on console, but the computer controls are pretty smooth. With the way I type, I was able to do most of the normal parkour, etc., as I got used to the game. However, some of the parkour was super tough. I'm talking about the masteries. Oh, the last area to get the Sentry Egg gets a pass, because you have to collect all eggs to even reach it, so it's like a pros only zone. But the masteries, they're not balanced. I did like how they were all themed about something you learned in the chapter. How can I do every mastery in chapter 3 and yet skip some in chapter 2 because they're so damn hard? I am no pro. I stink at games. I always play on easy mode. I know I sound like a chud, but I'm not. There's no easy mode in Egg Hunt 2026. Now, the developers are listening, as of typing this, nerfed the Chapter 5 masteries, which is quite random and cool, and as of reading this, I'm not sure if they did something else. I low-key did not look. Nonetheless, I wish there was an easy mode I can flick, as I'm used to playing games with modes. The game did lag super badly, but usually only when loading cutscenes and new areas, and the culprit was people in the server. If the server was stacked with people, then the lag was also bad. Now, I play Grounded too, okay? With only one person, and there is lag, but barely. Only really occurs if we've been playing for hours because of like memory leaks or whatever the heck. That game is in early access, and it is also currently $30. This game is not labeled as an early access, and before you tell me that games cannot be early accesses on Roblox, take Heroes of Robloxia for example. They posted a tweet as of reading this. They are releasing their game on August 28th, which I will be buying, and they are making it 500 Robux. And they're saying it's going to be free when the game fully comes out, which is fine. You could either keep it 500, make it cheaper, or make it free. That's not my issue. My thing is they explicitly said it's an early access game. And when you see early access, you know there's going to be bugs. You know that save files could get corrupted. You know what you're going to be worried about. You know there could be soft locks. And you just have to know that. That's what you get from playing an early access. And a game that doesn't say that they're early access having all of that same stuff doesn't deserve to have all that same stuff. Egg Hunt 2026, not labeled as early access, yet it came out with soft locks and all that kind of stuff, and that's like not good. It's not a good look. especially for the price of the game. Next up were the bugs, which I mentioned Freezing after a cutscene was very common for me during chapters 3 and 4. If you watch my videos, I did keep those in. 3, 2, 1... There was also the bug of not being able to talk to everyone until I rejoined the game. Even though rejoining isn't that slow, imagine constantly having to restart a Steam game. Which, by the way, I do have an example. It happened with me and BioShock 2. It was very annoying, and it crashed a lot, and so I ended up having to save every 2 freaking seconds just in case it crashed again. So imagine how much I hate rejoining Roblox games. I swear it's not any faster than opening a Steam game. Egg Hunt was tested by testers before it was released, but it was pretty buggy. I guess releasing it to the public also released a bunch of bugs. Ha ha ha. Bugs and lag affect gameplay, and as I said earlier, it makes this game feel like an early access when it was never labeled as such. I know they wanted to make Egg Hunt 2026. I know they did, but changing the date to 2027 or 2028 wouldn't change much or hurt much, at least in my opinion. I guess Cheaton might be out of the loop, but Cheaton's already out of the loop, bro. I haven't seen that poor little I haven't seen Japan's funniest, greatest mascot in a while. Like, occasionally Cheaton will tweet, but they don't have as much sustenance as they used to have. I still love them though. They were late to Easter as well, like a whole month or 2 late. I can't remember how late, but they were late to freaking Easter. I see why they wanted it out, but the backlash was so bad on release day when you couldn't even play the game. Everyone was soft locked and chapter 0 was restricted. Part of it was Roblox's fault, but that will be mentioned later on. The game does have some replayability. There's multiple save files, a friend pass system where only one of you has to own the game, and of course getting that 100% achievement. There's also leaderboards and soon to be added speedrun badges. There is plenty of replayability for people who love the game and are really good at the game, although for casual players there isn't much to replay. Overall, gameplay is pretty solid, but it feels early access-esque. Good news is you can have up to 2 friends on a server with you with the friend pass if at least one of you owns the game and the game owner is on the server, which is pretty cool. The gameplay also features eggs that randomly drop from the sky. However, duplicates can drop from the sky, which is a common complaint from people that they couldn't get a certain egg because duplicates keep coming down. If you complete the main story of the game and get the good ending, you can buy the eggs from the store. So you can just buy the duplicate. You can just buy the new eggs from the store that you don't have. But only the egg rain eggs, not the other eggs. Yep, that's pretty much gameplay. There's not much to go off of, I'm not gonna lie. It's really just what you see is what you get. I mean, when I recorded my videos, I didn't really put a lot of gameplay in the videos. It's mostly yapping. And I think that's just because there's not much gameplay to really look at. Another big part of the game is story. To others, it might not be as important, but to me, the story of a game is very important. The story was 9 out of 10. It was beautiful, heartfelt, touching, and even magical, although that does sound cringe, I'm sorry. So as of recording, there's a whole new character interaction that I never discovered. Let's do it. We're on the story part. Cow, where'd you learn to build a flying car? Huh? Bought and read the manual. Wasn't too hard to source the parts. Fascinating. You're really handy. Well, yeah. East Town rewards the resourceful. From what I hear, you're a bit of a wonder kind yourself. Oh, I don't know. I just study the orbital physics of particular classes of celestial bodies. I'm nothing like an engineer myself. Kinda useless with a hammer. Well, I don't know much about orbital whatsits, but with that hammer, you just need to practice. I'm sure you'll get it. Thank you, and orbital physics isn't that hard. If you can put together a car, you can put together a telescope. Building a telescope ain't math. It's just a toolbox, a set of instructions, and your own 2 eyes. Heh, that's what math is too. There's a perfect example of personality right there in the characters based on their interactions. Pip is like a child, learning about the world and life's lessons. Cow! People come and go, but they can come back or they can be gone forever. Stop walking. Cow is camera shy. Lunaris, he opened up to Sulfurus, but didn't regret his time spent with him, and realized he needed to have his own stuff sometimes. Chase, who learned not to chase after the past and to forge her own path for the future, ignoring legacies. Pun intended. Jacob, who learned to be brave and that being brave comes in many forms, who formed a bigger bond with his brother Wilhelm to learn it's okay to play with him and not to worry so much. Mayor Stumpton, who taught us that even if you are the smartest one in the room, to not show it, so other creativity can spread. Lastly, we have Sulfurus, who is cold because I am in Chapter 2, Songless Station. He learned to let go and realized the thing he was looking for ended up being right in front of him. The one thing he was afraid to ask for, as was the point of his surprise party. All these lessons are solid and are meant to teach something to the people playing the game, which is great in a story you're supposed to be always teaching a lesson. The personalities of the characters are also distinct, and some parts I really got into, including the final battle. Is occasionally I would be knocked out of my immersion, specifically after the final battle and while feeding recruits. For example, when I fed Chase and did her final mission, we had to climb the mountain to get to Leader Rauk, but Rauk was on the ground where she usually was, killing the immersion. Another example, which I'm very disappointed about, is Sulfurus not keeping his scars. It looks like he gained scars after the final battle, one right across his face. It also looks like he became blind in one eye, and part of his arms turned to stone. And lastly, his wings and horn were broken/cracked. After the final battle, he's suddenly back to normal, and not only that, but to get the community egg, he's normal. And to get the sentry egg, he's normal. Again, by the way. It makes sense if he washed his clothes so they weren't dirty, but what doesn't make sense is how he can heal a scar of all things. Either the sentry egg is that powerful, or my immersion was ruined. Secondly, Pierce and Blair appeared, and I was excited for them to have a big part in the story, but they became a nothing burger.
Look, I ordered one good burger with nothing on it.
And that's what I gave you.
No, you gave me a bun. Just a bun. Look, there's no meat in here.
I thought we were gonna have something with those two after they moved their car at the end, but no! They're gone! I thought they were helping so they could get the shard. It'd be cool if Sulfurus even attacked them, but no! Makes me sad. I don't know, man. They should have had a bigger part, otherwise they were kinda useless. Their only purpose was to block the train, which didn't matter, which makes them useless, because we had to stop anyways to get the sentry shards, which means their point of blocking the train didn't effing matter. They were just there so we could get different tools to make the parkour in this game harder. Woohoo! Anyway, oh my god, they had no purpose. And lastly, there was grammar issues, so yeah. And you're also technically paying for chapters 3 to 6 because chapters 0 to 2 are free, so keep that in mind, you're only paying for chapters 3 to 6. But if you paid for the game, you do get free UGC eggs. We're gonna talk about the art. I also barely have any complaints about the art. The animation is amazing, the NPCs look great. It took some getting used to, but just like Lumion Legacy's Arthro characters, I got used to them. They looked funky in some cutscenes, but were not too out of place. The only complaint here is some of the main characters not showing much expression on their face when expressing different emotions. Only Sulfurus really did this, but he also got a new outfit with it each chapter. Pip was happy-go-lucky the entire time, holding out his hat, and he had the same face throughout all the cutscenes, even though reportedly there are more Pip faces somewhere in the files of the game. I don't know if it's true once again, but hey, it could be. I just wish they showed more expression. Otherwise, it was just me reading it and giving them expression via a voice. Going back to the story a little bit, the art not updated, like Sulfurus no longer having a scar after the final battle, seems small but inconsistent. That killed my immersion, and that's technically also an art thing. Especially when I saw Sulfurus smiling again in his normal outfit like nothing fucking happened. I don't find it hard to just use the same face and body, but to just make a stand-in pose for him where he's smiling. Maybe a bittersweet smile. His clothes can even be cleaned, dude. Immersion was also broken, as text bubbles that people send can still appear in cutscenes. This only happened to me once, but imagine if the game was free in public. It may happen more often. In the end, the art is cute and amazing. I just wish visual expression was handled more. Next up are the maps, which are very well made and all themed nicely. My only complaint is there wasn't much guidance and some maps felt like a freaking maze, especially Songhua. Then we have the pip tools, which I applaud for also being different and unique. None of them seem similar to each other and they all have their own functions. I only wish the drill didn't take your hats away. I actually looked pretty good during a bug that kept my hats on when I wore the drill. There's also the food in the game, which all looks very tasty, except maybe the Nutramax smoothies. No complaints on the food, but maybe it would be fun to have a 2D version of the food on the table where they were eaten, so they weren't eating air. Yo, who is this fucker following me? Ugh! Ugh! I really did equip that, didn't I? Compared to 2018. It is definitely an improvement to 2018 in quality and love poured into it. The only difference was that 2018 was free, peak, and it was also pretty balanced. It even got updates for Ready Player 2 and other such stuff later on. There wasn't as rich of a story as 2026, but it was still different and fun to play with similar controls. Used more of Roblox's graphics, and Roblox actually supported them then. I feel the Egg Hunt 2026 game could have been $20 at most, as it did deserve to be paid, just not as much as it was, especially considering 2018 was free and it birthed this peak. Is that a fucking... It's a giant Gert! Bro, whoever Elliot is, he's got huge ass Gert and there's a pigeon, a crow, shooting out a laser from its eye! Who is this man? Because next up, we're talking about the game's release and Roblox. For one, the game had a very shaky release. No one could play Egg Hunt 2026. Roblox was slow and the first chapter was being shown as restricted. This was completely Roblox's fault. However, Steam doesn't have problems with this usually. Even early access games aren't that crazy. Even though this wasn't the fault of 15, it did make the price less worth it because it was put on Roblox. I get it. What is the point of putting an Egg Hunt game on Steam when people missed the Roblox specific ones? But still, it felt rushed and so many people quit Roblox in the past years. They lost 19% of their player count, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 19% is actually about 29 million for them. Million! The game came out at a bad time for Roblox with them not caring about the problems on the site. On top of that, who wants to pay money when Roblox gets some of it? If you pay with Robux, it's more expensive because of the DevX rates, which would never be a problem on Steam. I think Roblox is a dying thing, and it's going to end up killing games on there. They tried to host an event, and they got little support. Egg Hunt 2026 tried to host an event and got little support, including death threats from the community. In which case, the community sucks, but that is inclined with the Roblox community being shit out of a butt. The reason why people don't think a Roblox game should cost $30 is because of Roblox Studio and other stuff, which can be limited to a lot of things. Pale World, another $30 game, rival in Pokemon, people figured was also worth $30. It's open world, Pale's running around, something even Lumion Legacy is struggling to create in the span of 3 whole years, but that might just be dev negligence. In the end, the game is not worth $30. But I can totally see it being paid for $15 or $20. I think a lot of things could have been dealt with even if it had to be pushed to a 2027 release, and it could have gotten more time to improve. It was still a good game though, and if you end up getting the game, I do hope you enjoy it, and if not, maybe you can phone a friend. So yeah, thank you for watching my review, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye!